11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Venado won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and those who will be joining me on the archive. You're listening to archive, hit the like button. Of course, live as well. And if you're watching on X, you come on the YouTube channel, D-Style Boxing, subscribe, hit the bell button, hit the all. That way you're notified every time D-Style Boxing does a live. Shout out to Nando Llamas, Anthony Sanchez, Andre Rodriguez, Real Talk Boxing, JC and Demetrio. I apologize. I was about to go live and something came up and I couldn't do live, so it is what it is. But here I am now. All right. This cannot be that long because I work today. I got a long shift. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do the roundtable this week because I'm going to be working. I'm going to be doing a lot of work. It is what it is. You know why? You guys know why. You know what's up. It is what it is because of this.
I'm a hard-working man.
That's right. And maybe soon I'll hit the gym.
Man, that nigga was that Japanese guy was in shape.
They'll say, man, this dude's in shape, right? And it is what it is. Shout out to we got Puro Sur in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Sonteo Media. Anthony Sanchez, I believe I shouted you out if I did it. Real Talk Boxing, I believe I shouted you out too. But so much to talk about, so much to say. All right. First of all, great fight. And before I talk about the fight, I did bet money on Angelo Leo. I thought he was a live dog, and I love the odds. I wasn't sure if he was going to win or not. I'll keep it 100. But if you know Angelo Leo, you know that he's dangerous. You know that if he lands that big shot, he could knock you out. So it wasn't shocking. It was a little surprising that he still did it, but we'll see how Venado Lopez bounces back, and we'll see if, I mean, obviously that was a devastating knockout. He's going to need some time off, but I like watching Venado Lopez fight, and I hope to see him back in the ring again. I kind of wish I wanted Ruben Villa to be the guy who already had a win over him to be the guy to dethrone him, but man, Venado Lopez went through a string of upset wins himself. So a lot of times, if you notice, guys that jump into the scene with big upsets, sometimes they end up getting upset. It's kind of like karma gets you back or something. You know what I mean? And we'll see where he goes from here, man. Obviously, the guy's, now a former world champion. Angelo Leo, I mean, has been a winning streak since loss of Fulton. Now he's a world title list. And shout out to the Southwest. Shout out to Angelo Leo. I'm happy for him. Big win for him. Devastated for Venado Lopez, but that's the game. That's the game we watch. And that's a boxing game. You know what I mean? We ain't watching tennis. You know what I mean? When dudes lose in this sport, a lot of times it's devastating. You know what I mean? It is what it is. This ain't for the lighthearted. You know what I mean? This is a brutal game, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? So that shout out to Angelo Leo. Virgil Ortiz. Man. Let me put it this way. Fight of the year candidate, for sure. I think it is the fight of the year. I always like a couple of weeks to pass by and let it kind of simmer and then go back and rewatch it because it depends, right? But I'm gonna say it's the front runner right now. We'll see if it holds up. Right? Great fight, exciting fight, chingazos being thrown. You know what I mean? Virgil started strong at a very high rate and run into a dude now that said, I ain't going anywhere. I ain't gonna be one of those dudes you're gonna take out early, brother. I'm sticking around. Right? Bohachuk fought a very good fight. There's no other way to put it. He's a tough dude. Has really good boxing skills himself. Yet another tough Ukrainian who has the grit and the skill combined. And this was a hell of a slugfest. And it became a battle of wills that time. Virgil showed some of his outboxing skills late in the fight to close the show. But he made no mistake about it, he had to dig deep. And I think that worked because, there's fatigue that kicks in later in the fight. So Bohachuk maybe couldn't press as much as he would have if Virgil would have come out earlier with that style. I think there's people saying Virgil would have done better if he fought in the back foot and just boxed. And I just don't believe that. That's not his style. And that doesn't always work like people think it does. Like there's no what style works, what doesn't, depends on the fight, the fighters, the circumstance, and all that. Virgil's never going to be Sweet Pea Whitaker in there, right? He's going to be a very offensive-minded fighter, but with a very good, strong guard, really good jab. And I had the fight very, very close. I believe the fight could have gone either way. I don't do even rounds for knockdowns. It's a 10-8 to me either way. I understand there were kind of flash knockdowns, but it was, you were there, Shushan. Tell us how you saw the fight from live, because I'm interested in how people saw it live at the arena versus like watching on your phone on an app or the TV. But it was a damn good fight. Hard shots landed. Bohachuk can fucking crack, bro. All right. We saw he fucking disfigured the fucking jaw of his previous opponent, Mendoza. So he's a strong, strong dude. And I'll say this. I think if it was Bohachuk versus Fondor the way it was originally planned, I think Bohachuk would have won that fight. No way to know, but that's what I think. Bohachuk ain't going anywhere, right? And there was a lot of talks after the fight. Oh, Virgil's been exposed. He was dropped twice. Robbery, rah, rah, rah. Like, look, if you think Bohachuk won, no beef. I'm kind of leaning that way a little myself, to be honest with you, where I think, look, I was working when it happened. I watched some of it, and I watched more in the morning, but I didn't sit down and score round by round. And maybe later in the week when we do wait to appear something, I'll have a round by round ready for you guys. But it did feel like a Bohachuk fight. I could see how people think he won, and I could see that, right? But it doesn't feel like a robbery either, and it doesn't feel like Virgil winning is that crazy either, right? It just doesn't. A draw isn't that crazy either. So it just is what it is, right? But one thing that cannot be mistaken, right, is the intensity of the fight, how great the fight was. I agree with Shushan that the arena being half empty was crazy. Virgil just isn't a big draw right now. It is what it is. Only us hardcores really know about him. So those are the only people that are going to show up. It was at the Mandalay Bay, which I like, by the way. I like that arena. I think De La Hoya Vargas was there, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a big deal when it opened. But I know Teofimo fought there lately. But I think 2 fights ago. I like to fight, right? I like to fight. It's just a weird world sometimes. I think that same arena had Castillo, Corrales, and that was practically empty too. Why I don't know, but just because it's half empty doesn't mean there's not people there. There was still thousands of people there, and it is what it is. Virgil, I'm convinced that the more people watch Virgil, the more they'll become fans of his. He's still young. Virgil's not that old, so we're going to just wait and see what happens with Virgil. All right. Quite frankly. We read some of the comments here. Why they took it to get at Tim, I don't know. Saw Cotto Margarito there. Dope venue. Is that where I thought wasn't I thought Margarito Cotto, I could have sworn was at the MGM. It wasn't at the MGM? I could have sworn it was the MGM. I could be wrong about that, but very interesting. Huh. Okay. Are you sure about that? Let's look it up. No, I don't want to look it up right now. You guys can look it up if you want. Nando Llamas, Vegas is shitty market for non-superstars. Aztec 101 says it wasn't packed, but solid crowd. Let's talk about the Turkey thing first. This is totally me just going by the moving parts, right? One, maybe Turkey was a little frustrated that the fight with Ortiz was made and it was announced, and then the doctor of told Virgil, I'm sorry, Tszyu, look, man, your cut hasn't healed properly. You can't fight on that date. So there's already maybe some frustration there. And I believe what might have happened was once like the cut healed and everything, Tim's team, No Limit, and made some plans and some moves. And they were like, well, we'll come back. We'll do a fight in Australia. We'll do whatever, right? And I believe Turkey was like, well, you're not going to come back and work with me? You were going to do a card with me. You pull out of my card, and then you're not going to come back and work with me? I think maybe you felt, I don't know another way to put it, but like you should have asked me permission, or you should have, or something like that. You know what I mean? It could have been that, or he asked something of Tim's team, and maybe Tim's team had other ideas, right? Could have been, hey, maybe we could put you on the undercard of this fight. And maybe Tim's team was like, well, we're going to do this, right? It doesn't mean we don't want to work with Turkey. It doesn't mean we don't like Turkey. It just means at this certain time, we like what we're going to do here versus what you're offering at the moment. And that's that, right? And I think it's either one of those two things or a mix of both, quite frankly. That's what I believe. Because he kept saying he don't understand. I don't. That's vague, and I don't know what that means. Right? Drunk Irishman, Bruce Goss, how's it going? Hope you guys are doing great. Hope everything's all good. Now, I wanna, before I end the live, as far as the what's next for Virgil, right? Look, obviously De La Hoya and Turkey in that show. I already talked about doing Virgil versus Crawford and doing Stevenson versus Zapata. And Oscar threw in, let's do it on the same card. Well, that would be great. I'm not going to complain about that. You know what I mean? Like it's all good to me. You know what I mean? But like, it's whatever. Now, I understand that Virgil came out and said he wants to win her Fundora versus homeboy Spence. Look, we don't even know if Spence is going to fight. We don't know if Spence is going to be back. I'm here. People are telling me different things. People are telling me he's going to retire. Other people are telling me it's just postponed. I don't even know what to believe at this point when it comes to Errol Spence. I'm going to stay agnostic and just wait and see what Errol Spence fucking does because I have no idea. Right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys he's not going to fight Fundora. He is going to fight Fundora because I have no fucking clue. Maybe somebody else out there knows. I don't know. I'll just be honest. I have no clue. So we don't even know when that's going to happen. We know this is a tough, grueling fight for Ortiz. So he's going to have to be out for a couple of months. You know, I heard Robert Garcia talk about that. You know, we're going to be out for a couple of months. You know, Robert Garcia that said the post fight he's open to a Crawford fight. You know, so it's just that's right there. You know what I mean? That is that, and that is there at the moment. I want to see Ortiz versus Crawford next. I think that fight makes perfect sense. It's a fight that I think will intrigue people, right? It's a fight that I think will get people's attention. I think that's a fight I would like to see. All right. And I do think that with Turkey's money and the Saudi money, it's doable. Like it's a fight that they could do. Like I don't see any issue with that. Okay, just putting that on record. All right, just saying. I'm sure Virgil at some point does want to do a fight in Dallas. I think a fight in Dallas with Errol Spence at some point, whether it's before or after a Crawford fight, is a big fight, right? But we don't even know if Spence is going to fight, right? The Tszyu fight can't. I don't know where that is, but Tszyu's going to be fighting the Russian for the IBF. I believe that fight's going to happen in Australia. That's what the signs are pointing at for me, right? That's what I'm looking at. But we will see about that. But at this point, we have to wait and see what happens, right? I'm already seeing people going out and saying Virgil is ducking Crawford. He's ducking the smoke. He wants no piece of Crawford, right? When Crawford, and the only interviews he's done recently were about Canelo, and Canelo being worried about his legacy, being worried about fighting him, and he obviously wants to shame Canelo into agreeing into a fight with him still. What I'm saying, Crawford also has people calling him out, like Teofimo Lopez wants to fight him. If you're for Crawford fighting Canelo at 168, why would you be against Crawford fighting Teofimo? Teofimo is the lineal 140-pound champion of the world. I agree Crawford will beat the shit out of him, but that's besides the point. I don't see why they can't do that fight. Boots has been wanting to fight with Crawford. We keep getting a bunch of different things said. Now, you don't see me on here saying, oh, Crawford's ducking, right? Because right now, Boots is calling him out, and Crawford's has other plans. And a lot, not all, but a lot of Crawford fans, right? A lot of Crawford fans are saying that he doesn't need Boots and this and that. And Andre Ward came out and said that he don't need to fight Boots because he's earned the right not to fight Boots because he fought Spence. You put that one together however you want to put it. I'm not here accusing Crawford of ducking anybody, right? It's just a reality. So then let's just keep it fair. And let's stick to the merits of it. You know what I mean? Let's not get a little too carried away now with some of the language. Let's not get carried away. All right? No reason to get carried away, ladies and gentlemen. It's a bit much, okay? Because one day I'm a sellout, right? I'm a sellout to my people because somebody doesn't like me saying the Canelo Berlanga fight is trash. Right? I'm a Canelo hater. Right? When I criticize Ramirez, right? Oh no. Right? When I criticize Mexican fighters, it is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just. But the moment these style boxing happens to say that a boxer that happens to be Mexican American isn't ducking a fight, all of a sudden these style boxing is tribal, right? All of a sudden these style boxing, he's only saying it because he's Mexican American, right? And for some reason, like that's whatever to me. That has nothing to do with the merits of the issue at all, quite frankly. Nothing to do with the merits of it. So I'm going to just stick to the merits of it. I'm not going to take it someplace else. I'm going to stick to the merits is what I'm going to do. So let's talk about the merits. All right. I don't have time for all of it today. As far as, well, I probably do. Numero uno. Okay. Number one. We're going to go down a timeline here. All right. And keep everything in proper context. That's what we're going to do. And I'm doing this literally by memory. And you in the chat, if you want to help me out, and we can go from there. All right? Because I know we got some diehard boxing fans on here, so you guys know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Boxing Magic says you did bend the knee, though, hating on Canelo. Yeah, but other people say, oh, but you're tribal. Like, I don't know. You can't win for losing, right? It is what it is, right? It's whatever to me. Like, honestly, that's Boxing Magic's opinion. Whatever, okay? Es tu opinión, way, all right? But here's the deal. Let's start with the Maurice Hooker fight, who's a friend of Crawford's, trained with Crawford. All right. I don't know if Maurice Hooker was trained by Bomac or not. I don't know. But nonetheless, former 140-pound world champion. Virgil was still kind of prospect-ish, contender-ish stage, right? It's a while back. Virgil's like 25, 26 right now. So how old was he? Like, he was early 20s, bro, when he fought Maurice Hooker. Destroys Maurice Hooker, right? Calls out Crawford to a fight. Oh no, but let's just shh. Hold on. Okay? I already know what you guys are doing. You're already yelling at the screen. Right? Like you're already like arguing with me before I finish my point. All right. So he called out Crawford. Okay. And well, there you go. Hey, that's fine, dude. I want to do the fight. That was a young Virgil. Maybe Virgil was capping. I mean, maybe he was full of shit. I don't know. Whatever you want to say. However, with Fino boxing, Terence Crawford had something else to say. Right? And I'll read it. This is from an article. The number 2 WBO ranked Ortiz, 17-0, 70 kilos, called Crawford out after the fight with Maurice. Letting box fans know he wants to fight him next. Crawford made it clear, though. The 22-year-old, well, there it is. He was 22. Virgil still needs to work his way up the rankings with the World Boxing Organization to earn his right to fight with him. Quote, this was with Fino Boxing, which is on camera. No, Virgil has got to work his way up, said Terence Crawford. That fight ain't even ready yet. He's not ready. Could you imagine if it was the other way around? If Crawford called out Ortiz and Ortiz said all this about the fight, if Ortiz said, no, I need to work my way up the rankings, that fight ain't ready, I'm not ready to fight Crawford yet. Could you just imagine the screenshots and the replays and all? Imagine that plastered all over social media. Just imagine. Just imagine. Shit, maybe I would have been saying some shit. Maybe I would have been like, well, why are you talking like that, Virgil? He called you out. And maybe Boxing Magic will be here. Oh, you bend the knee, D-style. We're going at Virgil. Maybe that would be happening. I don't know. We can't go by what coulda, woulda, shoulda. But I know that happened. And I know that was in 2021. All right? That I do know happened. I do know that response happened. Well, whether Virgil was bluffing, or whether he was a pump fake, or whatever it was, a heart feint, all right? Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's the response Crawford gave. And then Paco, shout out to Paco. Got no beef with Paco, right? President of WBO, right? I don't got beef with Paco the way I do with Mauricio, for example. You know, shout out to Paco. You know, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? People putting words in my mouth. Oh, you're saying he's lying. I never said Paco's lying. That's not what I said. I'm just going by the evidence. So Kriegel comes out on ESPN. He starts talking about how, oh, yeah, Virgil, he turned on the fight. He didn't want to fight Crawford. And people ran with it. They ran with the shit. It was crazy, bro. Yeah, he's going to have to call the porter out because he didn't want to fight him. He didn't want to fight him. He didn't want to fight him. It's clear as day. Clear as day. That's it. Oh, you're tribal. If you disagree, you're tribal. Like, well, what? Wait a minute. Whoa. Slow down. Put on brake. No, brake. Put on parking. Put it on brake. Hit the brakes. Put on parking. Right? So let's go from there. Okay. So is that true? Well, Paco came out. Well, Paco confirmed it because Paco said that he asked Ortiz if he would like to be the mandatory. What is sort of the fight, you goofy dude? Like, what are you doing? You're going around asking dudes if they want to be the mandatory. Okay, whatever. And Ortiz said no. Interesting, right? But that's not what Bruce Trapper said at all, actually, right? In fact, and we're going to use just some logic here, all right? We're just going to use some logic. Let me pull up the audio, right? I'm going to just play it off the phone. It is what it is. People are going to say it's ghetto, but it's going to be ghetto. Because I haven't figured out how to play the audio on share screen on here. Maybe somebody will show me one day, but I don't got the time right now, okay? This was from the Boxing Boys. Shout out to them. And I asked a question. It was my question, right? But inside joke. But it was my question, and it was on the Boxing Boys. Shout out to them for giving me the platform to ask Bruce Trapper this question. Bruce Trapper, I don't know if he still is, but he was at the time working with Top Rank. He was a matchmaker with Top Rank, okay? But at the time was with Top Rank. We're going down the timeline, ladies and gentlemen, okay? But what about it? We're not there yet. We're gonna break this down because these accusations have been ongoing for a while. We're gonna break that shit down all the way. You know what I mean? And this is what I asked. You guys tell me what do you think?
Bud's kind of backed into a corner by the WBO mandate, and if he fights, he's going to get a percentage of the overall purse bid.
60.
But he's not going to be able to negotiate that.
Bud Crawford was getting guaranteed money by Top Rank. Good on him. That means it doesn't matter if they made money, didn't make money. Bud didn't give a fuck, and he shouldn't give a fuck. That's not his problem. But all Bud needs to worry about is fighting, winning fights, and being going in the ring. That's all Bud has to do, and that's what Bud does. Okay? But the reality is, Bob Arum came out and said, man, I've been losing money with this guy. Now, granted, should Bob Arum been saying that? No. Right? Should Bob Arum look at himself in the mirror and be like, well, I should have done something proper to promote the guy? Yes. Right? I'm not condoning what Arum did, but nonetheless, Arum came out and confirmed that he lost money. He could have bought a home in Beverly Hills with the amount of money he lost on Bud Crawford fights. Okay? Bud Crawford, I understand he left and he sued, and then because Top Rank was being discriminatory, yada yada yada. Okay, I get all that. Then he went to Black Prime. We're not there yet, but at the time, Bud had a guarantee. Bud wanted to make his guarantee. Okay, so Paco could say all day, "Oh yeah, this guy, I wanted him to fight this guy all day." He could say it all he wants, but if Top Rank looks at it and says, yeah, well, we're not going to pay Crawford his guarantee and then pay this dude, right, for that fight. So when Bruce Chambers talking about Bud Crawford being backed into a corner with a purse bid, meaning Bud's going to have to settle for whatever they put up, right? You saw, like, the WBC order Martin versus Devin Haney. You saw Haney was not happy with that money that they put up, and Haney pulled out. Haney doesn't want to do the fight because he's not happy with the money, right? Well, Bud understood that something like that could happen, meaning Top Rank could be like, well, we'll bid, but we ain't gonna bid what we'll bid what we bid. And Golden Boy was like, we'll bid what we bid, right? We seen fights go to bids, and fighters are very disappointed. Gallo Estrada, and Franco went to purse bids, and I think the highest bid, and the only bid I believe, I remember correctly, was Golden Boy. It was like $125,000, whatever it was. Just abysmal amount of money for a great fight. When Top Rank had been paying Franco, a Golden Boy fighter, and you couldn't put up more money than that, it was atrocious. I think was it Matchroom? I forgot who the fuck bid, but it was a very low amount. So those are the risks you run when you go to purse bid. Crawford didn't want to have it go to purse bid. Okay? Why is that important? Because Paco doesn't have the power you think he does. Paco could tell somebody, hey, he's the mandatory, right? That's all good and all, but if promoters who pay for the fights aren't willing to put up the money, what are you going to do? Holy shit. I'm allergic to bullshit. That's why I sneeze right now. But hopefully I hit the mute button on time. But man, I'm cooking, guys. Whew, can you smell that? Shit. Man, it's stewing right now. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. So why is that important? So why is Bruce Chambers even talking about that? About being backed into a corner and all that. Like, Bud Crawford didn't want it to go to purse bid. He didn't want it to be a mandatory option. That's very important. Because Crawford has an expectation of what Crawford expects to be paid. Because Crawford has a contract at the time he did with Top Rank. You got to pay what you got to pay him. All right? And it's not his problem on what you got to figure out to pay Virgil Ortiz. Fair enough. But let's hear what Bruce Chambers had to say.
It's just whatever the bid is, that's what he gets his percentage of.
Can you comment if there was anything offered or talked about with Virgil Ortiz and Crawford?
No, I have no knowledge of a Virgil Ortiz Crawford fight at this point. I know Virgil's calling out Bud, and like any young contender, he wants to fight the best, and I give Virgil a lot of credit for that. It's admirable. He's one of the few guys who says he wants to fight Crawford. So either he needs a head test or he's just a tough kid.
D-Style, you're bringing that up purposely, right? Wasn't someone quoted saying that Virgil didn't want the fight with Crawford?
Yes, of course. Yeah, that was put out there.
By who?
Mark Riegel.
Yeah, Mike Riegel from
Mark Riegel.
ESPN, but it was at least insinuated. But I just wanted to get that cleared up because Virgil denied it. So,
and it comes up in these chats constantly. Like, you know, people hear one thing, and the next thing you know, people in chat just assume that that's like the truth.
Bruce, you still have time?
The matchmaker of Top Rank said, look, bro, we ain't looking to make this fight. We haven't talked about the fight. We haven't proposed the fight. We haven't pushed for the fight. It is what it is, bro. Right? There was other obstacles. You had to co-promote with Golden Boy Promotions. You had to... Virgil at the time was a DAZN fighter. Crawford was on ESPN. Right? At the time, they were not cross-promoting the way they're promoting right now. Like all these are factors you got to consider. Okay? That's not protecting. Those are just the facts. This is not me saying this. It's Bruce Trampler. I guess Bruce Trampler, it's just, you know, running interference for Virgil Ortiz, right? Like what incentive would he have to do that? Got no incentive. Now let's hear from Roberto Diaz on HCP. It was HCP 69, hosted by Maestro and G Funky, where Roberto Diaz was a guest on HCP 69. And Roberto Diaz, a guest that I talked to and got on the show. I couldn't make the show at the time. And here it is.
Absolutely. That fight has been talked about. Virgil wants to fight. Obviously, after the Maurice Hooker, he said it clearly right there after, you know, the post-press conference. But the fight was never negotiated. There wasn't even talks beginning. And the best way I can say and prove to the fans out there, recently I saw an interview with legendary Bruce Trampler, and he said it himself. That fight has not been offered. It has not been. Nothing's been sent to Golden Boy. Nothing's been sent to Virgil. So now, if you have the other side saying no, there wasn't an offer from us, and we're saying we've never turned it down, or Virgil's never turned it down, that fight wasn't absolutely.
I mean, you got both sides saying, nah, that wasn't a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, all that was just made up bullshit. And Paco could say what he wanted. Paco's not the one putting up the money. Paco just wants Crawford to have another fight, so that guarantee money can get him 3%. That's all Paco wants. I never once said, oh, Paco, he's lying. They could ask all day. Like, they could say, oh, yeah, do you want to be, you want a title shot next? You know, it doesn't matter if he says yes or no. If Golden Boy and Top Rank are not interested in the fight, if the matchmaker at Top Rank is saying, yeah, I mean, he'll do the fight. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Roberto Diaz had further to say, although the audio was a little choppy.
Yeah, you guys heard it. What I was saying is that fight's not going to be done in a week's time. When it comes time to do it, there's going to be some back and forth. There's going to be some negotiation. There's going to be some no this, yes, this. And we had a date for Virgil. So now, do we pass on the date for Virgil, which is this August 14th, and go into the negotiations?
At the time, they were already pretty much set with the Crawford Porter fight, by the way.
And who knows? Maybe the fight goes in October, November, December. Now, let's just get the fight now, and we can look forward to that next fight. But let's keep Virgil active. Why sit out a young man to negotiate a big fight when that fight's going to happen? Or whoever's there at the time, who knows? Sean Porter comes up and pulls up the upset. Virgil's made it very clear. He's not one of those fighters that's worried about the zero. He wants to fight the best. And he knows when you do that, there's a risk you can lose.
So Look, man, but both matchmakers basically said there was never a fight offered. We never talked about making that fight, et cetera, okay? Right? So, so what does that tell you? All that talk in 2021, right? About, oh, he's ducking, he's scared, he doesn't want to fight him. He wants nothing. He wants nothing at all, nothing to do with Crawford. He's running for the hills. He's are you it's after hearing that, you can't dismiss 2021? You can't say, yeah, I don't know about that one. I believe Joe B talked about Barham too, by the way, and asked him about it. And it wasn't a good thing for that narrative either, but I need to find it. Okay. So we could just shut that shit down, right? Let's just shut it down. Oh, Batista, what about when he left Top Rank, right? Well, here's the deal. So the reality is this, okay? I know Deloy was courting Crawford, I think they took a picture together and everything, and I think he was thinking about signing Crawford over, and that didn't happen, right? So if you're a Golden Boy and Crawford doesn't sign to you, are you as Golden Boy willing to lose money? This is before Turkey. This is before the Saudis. Are you willing to lose money on pay? Because all of Crawford's fights lose money, guys. Are you willing to lose money on Bud Crawford, and now Top Rank's not involved? Now you gotta pay it all. Top Rank was willing to pay Bud. Now that entity's gone, right? And then of course he's with the Zone. So all the moving parts from, well, if it's not on the Zone, it's gonna have to be on Black Prime. So we're gonna have to have Virgil leave the Zone and go to this new app no one's heard about, right? That could have been done theoretically. I'm not saying it couldn't have, right? You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been against it. But Black Prime came and went. It was another entity, lost a lot of money on Bud, right? What about what Virgil wants to get paid? Bud wants to get paid. Virgil wants to get paid. All right? What I was told, from my understanding, was that they never even, talks never became serious because there was no agreement on the money. Yes, because monies make fights, Texas. I don't care what they make. If they lose money on it, I don't give a fuck. However, I'm explaining to you why Virgil didn't duck. I'm not telling you I care about the money that these guys make. That's not what I'm saying. Tax, come to El Paso. You pay the plane ticket, and you mow my lawn for free. For free. And then go home. Why not? Well, why do you care about the money? Why do you care about your time? Well, who cares about that? Are you ducking my lawn? Are you scared of the grass? Well, are you guys pocket watching? Well, what do you care about the money? He's scared of my grass. He wants no smoke with the lawnmower. That's how you guys sound. What do you care about the money? Oh, you like what do you mean? It's not. I'm not over here. It's one thing to say, oh yeah, Floyd, he's got a lot of money. Yeah, look at his cars. Yeah, I'm not rejoicing or saying anything. I've said multiple times on the live, get your money. Hey, cool. I even said earlier, hey, you're gonna pay Bud. We gotta pay him. It is what it is, right? Fucking nuts, bro. What are we doing? Go work my shift at my job. You scared of my job or what? I don't need you guys. Don't pocket watch now. Well, unless you're scared. Are you scared of my job or what? What are we doing, bro? That's what I'm going to tell dudes and shit. You know? It's just nuts, bro. Like, you expect boxers to just box for free or what? Like, we're talking about it because it's relevant. It's what makes the fights. That's what we're talking about it. Look, the points went over his head. Anyway, back to my point, bro. You're not gonna hijack because it makes you feel uncomfortable with what I'm saying. It's not my problem. All right. The reality of the situation is the best argument for Virgil ducking, if you want to say that, would be when Crawford was a free agent and theoretically he could have fought, but on Black Prime, but you have to consider all the moving parts and what could have prevented that from happening, right? From my understanding, the Virgil team, they didn't like what they were going to get paid, which I'm not talking specifically about the Black Prime. I'm just talking in general, right? There was never any serious talks had ever. That's all I'm saying. So at the end of the day, we move on to this year. Now, I am very optimistic that the fight's going to happen now. Because now we have Turki, Alalshikh, the Saudis, that don't apparently care if they lose money, right? Not to a degree that people claim they do, but still more than others, right? Now there is somebody with the wallet and the money that can make the fight happen. Now someone can pay Bud what Bud feels he deserves. And they could pay Ortiz what Ortiz feels he deserves. Not because I care, because of any of that, but because that's what's going to help make the fight happen. All right? So we're going down the timeline tech stack. We're not, like, you're jumping the whole gun. And I already touched on that, by the way, but it's whatever. So now you have the promoter is interested in making the fight. At least publicly, he said yes. Right? Now, I don't know about you guys, but definitely has options. Yes, Teofimo and Boots are more than willing to fight him. Right? But doesn't want to do those fights. He gets a pass. Okay, cool. Right? Like, it is what it is. If Virgil doesn't fight Bud next, all right, first of all, we got to see what Bud wants. Then we got to see what Bud does. That's number one, right? Because they may very well do the Fundora. Fundora has to fight Bud or get stripped if Spence doesn't fight. All right? So you guys need to understand there's still more moving parts here that are going to have to happen. But if the fight happens, whether it's next or 2 fights from now, like, I don't understand where the duck talk is coming from. Maybe he ends up fighting the guy anyway. Like, if you go down the timeline and like, people are accusing Ortiz of ducking Bud because he did the Stanionis fight, but Bud was in negotiations with Errol Spence. And the Errol Spence fight happened. I mean, some of these things that are being said are crazy. Bud didn't come out and say, I want to fight Ortiz next. He's saying he wants Canelo next. I want Canelo. Even after Turki said, I'm not interested in that, he's still doing interviews talking about Canelo. And he's dismissing Boots and he's dismissing Teofimo, but for some reason, it's just easy to, Virgil, he's been ducking for years. Virgil, he's ducked them 3-4 times already. I lost count. Well, why did he do this? Why did he do that? A Bud could say, oh, yeah, he's not ready. We're not going to do that fight right now. He could say that, and that's cool. Like, everybody acts like that didn't happen, right? The 2 matchmakers from each promotional company could confirm. No, there was no interest in making the fight. Doesn't matter. You just want to jump to wherever it's convenient to you. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. What about what he said on the post-fight after the fight? What about it? What about it? It's not like Bud's out here calling out, Ortiz. Bud should tweet Ortiz and be like, yo, are we going to do this or what? And let's see what Ortiz says. Because make no mistake about it, the money's there now. The Saudi money has the money now. We could do the fight now. Right? It's there to be made. I'm not disagreeing that the fight can be made right now. I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. Right? At all. Like point blank, period. So, like, I just think that the Virgil's been ducking multiple times talk is ridiculous. The time frame you got is from after the Porter fight, and he's only been fighting once a year, so it's like Porter fight, and then like, but always takes like a break, and then so it's really. There's like a 6-month period where you can legitimately say or make some type of argument that the fight was in the best possible place to be made, right? But being a free agent doesn't mean that Golden Boy needs to pick up the tab and pay Crawford automatically. And if they're not willing to do it, that means Virgil Ortiz ducked, right? But Paco said that he could. But Paco ain't paying anybody. Paco ain't putting up the money. Paco's telling people to to mow the lawn, but he's not going to pay them to go do it, right? Paco could tell TaxTech all day, he could tell me all day, hey, D-Style, I want TaxTech to mow your lawn, right? He could say that all he wants, but if I'm not willing to pay TaxTech, I don't give a fuck what he says about money. How does it matter? He ain't going to come over here and mow my lawn, right? Not because he's scared of the lawn, not because he fears the grass from mowing the lawn, but because he ain't gonna like he ain't here to do it for free. That's where it matters. That's the point blank period. Now somebody's saying, "What does Crawford gain for fighting Virgil?" What do you mean? Like who cares, right? At the end of the day, I'm all for the fight. All right, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Can't wait for the fight. I hope it happens. I want it to happen. Turkey wants it. Turkey's going to make an offer, right? Turkey's going to put pressure on both guys, quite frankly, to make that fight. He's going to tell Crawford, "I'm done with the Canelo thing. I want you to fight Ortiz." He's going to tell Ortiz, "Well, I don't know about that, but I want you to fight Crawford," and that's that. And we'll see what each guy does. We'll see what the moves are. And if Virgil comes out and he says, "Nah," or Turkey says, "Hey, I offered the fight. He don't want to take it," then we'll have that conversation. And Magic will be saying that I bend the knee because I'm criticizing Ortiz, right? But it has to be legitimate and fair. It can't just be like, "Oh, he's been doing it since 2020. Since 2020, he's ducked them 3-4 times," and all this other crazy shit, right? Nuts. Fucking nuts, bro. All and any of the obstacles that were placed before are not there now, right? Let's just read this. What do you mean, brother? Tszyu and Boots. Come on, these styles. Don't you dare play that game with us. Tszyu and Boots ain't trying to fight Bud. LOL. Boots handler Eddie Hearn says he wants undisputed. Then he can fight Bud. Did Bud make an offer? I mean, I could play this game too. You know what I mean? Like you want Ortiz to make offers to Bud or else. Well, as he called this, why doesn't Bud say, "Okay, let's do it"? Every time Bud is asked, right, about Boots, that's not what he says. What he just said, right? I don't care. I'm not. By the way, I'm saying Bud's not ducking. I don't know if you heard me. I'm not saying Bud is ducking him. I'm just using the logic that people are using on Virgil. So that's all I'm doing. So at the end of the day, doesn't matter. I think we're going to see the fight. And I can't wait to see it. All right? As simple as that. He ducked the fight, but for freaking two. You got two matchmakers in 2021 shutting that shit down, right? The dude only fights once a year, right? And you got this small window of time where he could have or could have not ducked. And then the one time he doesn't fight a year later is when he fought Spence. He was already in negotiations to fight Spence. You got like a 3-month window in the last 4 years where we can make an argument that maybe they could have done Virgil versus Crawford, right? But yet there's no talks. You cannot find any promoter in the world that put up money for the fight. It's not till right now. Right now, yes, you got Turki Alalshikh saying, I want the fight, and you know he's got the money. That's what makes now different than the other times. All right? Shout out to Shadow Ghost. By the way, guys, it's unfortunate. I would love to stay here and talk some more, right? But I got to go. I got to go to work and all that good stuff. Alonso, shout out to you. El Cuerpo Boxing, shout out to you. Pachuco, shout out to you. Black Man, shout out to you. Right? I've been a Bud fan here for years. So anybody that wants to come in, oh, he just hates Bud. Like, well, what are you talking about? I had Bud #1 pound for pound for years. Even when it was popular to have Canelo #1 pound for pound, I had Bud #1 pound for pound. Like it is what it is, bro. Like I'm done. Like trying to let me tell you all something right now. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. It doesn't matter how fair you are. It doesn't matter how impartial you are. It doesn't matter how consistent or inconsistent you are. The moment somebody disagrees with something you say, the moment that's it. Like you're going to be labeled whatever, right? So it is what it is. So that's why I've been called 10 million things, and they all contradict each other, right? From different people. And I just don't give a fuck. My patience and explaining myself, it's running thin. I'm just going to put it that way. You guys know damn well what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Tax tact. If Tszyu is just doing it for attention, it should call his bluff. That's all I'm saying. Call his bluff then. Make Tszyu an offer. Tszyu doesn't take it, then I'll join you and say, man, Tszyu was all talk. Tszyu full of shit. But unless an offer is made, we can't say that. Like it is what it is. Like I'm just saying. So with that said, I appreciate everybody that tuned in. D-Style. Boxing. Keep it boxing. I'm out. Peace.